Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Dbacks Dispatch, your small-time Arizona Diamondbacks podcast with me, Brandon, Gabe, and Brett. If this is your first time on the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. We do series recaps for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So this video will be about the Seattle Mariners and their phenomenal starting pitching. They really shut us down this weekend. I was not a fan. I was not enjoying it. Game one was definitely I feel like we had a shot at winning. Starters was Gallen versus Hancock. The big story for me in this one is Gallen left in the middle of an at-bat in the top of the sixth, and we all started freaking out. He left with some discomfort, and we're all like, oh, geez, another injury. Thankfully, it was just some right hamstring tightness. They said he should be able to go with his next start, which is slated to be Wednesday, and there's no starter for Wednesday. So Gabe, what was your immediate reaction when you saw that he left?
I mean, I was just frustrated because it's it's again, we can't catch a break here. We have so many guys out. Now it's another starting pitcher. We're having to rely on two guys who started, one guy. We're down to one guy who started the season in the starting rotation, which is Fott. He's the last guy standing. I mean, we got Montgomery now, we got Coney, and we'll talk about them. That most of these guys have looked really good recently, but damn, it was just it felt like a huge blow because at that point it was man, it's not even May yet, and most of our starting pitching lineup is gone, and then we have injuries, and it felt especially with some other news that day about Yumin Lin and a few other guys. So it was damn, dude, it's when it rains, it pours. It's so awful. And he was looking pretty good. And unfortunately, he ended up getting out with 5 innings and 3 earned runs because McGuff, messed everything up. But I don't blame McGuff either. The dude had literally no time to warm up. This guy was 64 pitches or something. So it's just McGuff, he had time to warm up, but he truly didn't warm up. In the 5th or 6th is when they're barely starting to stretch, and he literally had no time to stretch, no time to really warm up. He just came out there and started throwing. I mean, he got out of the inning eventually and everything, but put a game out of reach that, I mean, even if Gallen would have gone, like I said at the last time with Montgomery, if Gallen would have gone 9 innings with 2 runs, they still would have lost.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. On this little video here, you see him kind of hop, and you're like, oh dear Lord, is it a groin? I definitely knew that it was a lower body injury. It wasn't an arm, an elbow, a shoulder, which I was like, okay, that if it was something if he had immediately went to grab his arm, something on his arm, I think I would have been a lot more worried. But you can see he kind of skipped and hopped, so I'm probably lower body, so hopefully it's not too bad. But hopefully he's able to go on Wednesday. Brett, what were your thoughts on you being Mr. Half Empty? I bet you were just oh my gosh, not another one.
Yeah, so Friday night, I watched at least the first. I literally watched up until the inning to where he got hurt because I turned my phone off. Well, not turned it. I was putting it on silent mode as I was walking into Harkins to watch Mummy. They re-released in the theaters. And I just see Gabe being just saying, oh no, the PHNX Dbacks just saying, oh no, and what the hell? And I'm just expecting, oh, maybe he's giving up home runs. The game's already getting really bad now. And then I open up the MLB app and it's injury delay. And I'm just like, oh, that's not good. Literally pull my phone back out, and pull the TV part to actually watch it back out as we're walking into Harkins, walking through to our theater, and I'm just like glued to my phone right here, and I just see that clip right there, Gallon kind of like, doing whatever. I didn't have any sound. I didn't have anything. I just had the little bit of context. I immediately went to, I swear to fucking God, if Zach Gallen has to miss any time because of an arm injury, of anything like that, like I'm going to actually drive up and get the real life, Seattle experience. And
oh my God,
it was not looking good for a minute.
You are so. That's so dark. That's so dark.
The movie was over, and I opened my phone and I saw that it was like a hamstring thing. Definitely came back down to earth. I was like, one, especially because I didn't think it was anything lower body, because it didn't. Just seeing him, like the reaction, I thought that was an arm thing. So knowing that it was lower body, I just instantly calmed down. 80%, still 20% of me was like, Zach Gallen, you said you're not going to miss time and you don't expect. Geraldo Perdomo said the exact same thing. I'm not going to, until we actually see that his next start come and he pitches, I'm going to be hold my breath a little bit. I'm just glad that he's okay in general. But I mean, that game up until then, it was rough. Like you talked about it. Our hitters were just.
This is the only offensive highlight. Kevin Newman home run. That is literally all we have.
Yeah, and you said it before at the beginning, the Mariners and their staff. Even looking at the beginning of it, Emerson Hancock, I believe, had like a 6-something ERA. Where if you're just going off of paper, oh cool, yeah, the Diamondbacks could light them up. But there's a reason why, like they have, I think it's 17 quality starts already in their pitching staff combined. Like their guys are very quality, and it was set up to be their 5-1-2. Like we just ended up getting their 5 on a really good day, and unfortunately, McGuff. I'm glad I didn't get to watch that. I'm glad I was enjoying Brendan Fraser doing some cool Brendan Fraser stuff, and not having to witness another Scott McGuff meltdown.
Yeah. So in their last 16 starts, 17 earned runs.
That's nice.
That's in like 3 weeks. That's absolutely insane. But we did face a couple of former Diamondbacks in this series. Josh Rojas decides, I want to hit home runs. He ambushes the first pitch from Zach Gallen. Just first pitch for them on offense. Josh Rojas ambushes it, takes it to right, and I'm like, the former Diamondback revenge tour continues. It was Nick Ahmed last weekend, and it was Josh Rojas this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, my brother was talking to me about that when I told him, like, this is how Josh Rojas was last year, minus the home runs. And I went back to see like where he was on April 28th, and he was batting like 290 in April 28th. So I'm like, this is just who he is in the first couple months of the season. Then he just completely falls apart. So I know everyone's like freaking out and being like, "Oh, shouldn't have traded him," blah blah. But I'm like, gave him a lot of run here in Arizona for a lot of years, and he showed us that he's a 250 at best hitter here, at least here. But we also got Paul Sewald out of it, which I'd rather have Paul Sewald than Josh Rojas. And the only difference right now is just that Sewald is injured and Rojas isn't. So once Sewald comes back, then we can shut down that conversation again. And we wouldn't have gotten to the playoffs last year without Paul Sewald. We wouldn't have gotten to the World Series without him.
Rojas on this roster.
And Rojas, yeah, I mean, last year we had him and they collapsed with him. And when they got rid of him and brought Sewald, this bullpen steadied, and then we were able to make it to the playoffs. And as far as I remember, the Mariners didn't even make the playoffs, right?
Nope.
So
no,
still got the better end of the deal.
I think Seattle figured it out. He's not a full-time player. He splits third base with Luis Urias. He only faces right-handers. Like that's the only time that he plays. Like it is a straight platoon. Now, because we had 3 right-handers this entire series, he played all 3 games. So, that like game 1 was game one, like for me, the big story was Zach Gallen going out and everyone like freaking out for like an hour until we found out. Oh, it's not just it's just right hamstring tightness. It's a lower body thing. For me, as soon as I found that out, I took a deep breath. I'm like, okay, if he's out, it's going to be one start at most. Like, if it was an elbow, shoulder, I would have been like, Brett, all right, let's go to Seattle and have the Seattle experience for sure. And I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure almost every week there is an off day on Thursday. Like, this is like really, really weird that we keep having off days. So, Gabe, what are you like? Do you think the off days are maybe a cause of sometimes why they're struggling?
I think so. It's not just the off days, but specifically the way Torrey managed the off day on Wednesday, because they literally had just come off a 16-17 run game against the Cardinals. They had just demolished them. Cattell went 3 for 5 in that whole series. He was like, he was batting 500 during that series. Same with Gurriel, same with Moreno. Like, these guys were on a really, really nice roll and just hitting everything inside, scoring a whole bunch of runs. And then Torrey gives them a day off on Wednesday for some reason because I don't know. Like, I don't get it. I can understand maybe giving him Gabby. Gabby needs to have a day off, obviously. But Cattell, Gurriel, that's why we have the DH spot. He wants them off their feet. But these are the guys who are like the most pivotal in the lineup. And he gives them a day off the day before they have a day off. So in other words, they get 2 days off at a time when they're blazing hot. Like, they looked amazing like those last few games, and then he gives them a couple of days off, and of course it's going to affect your swing. It's going to affect your momentum. Like, baseball is a sport of consistency, so you suddenly get 2 days off where you're not swinging, you're not facing real live pitching. It's going to affect you, and so we saw it like coming into this series. I mean, I know Seattle has great pitchers, but Cattell took some offers, Moreno took some offers, Gurriel took offers. Like, they weren't taking offers before that, and then of course they were, because they're facing suddenly guys throwing 99 at them, and they hadn't really done any real work before that either. So it's just frustrating, and I feel like that really, really affected them, because I mean they scored 1 run both days and they took offers, and it's just another thing with Lovullo where I understand this whole thing about sticking to his schedule for off days, but don't give the best players on this team off days all at once. Pick one, give him an off day.
I think honestly, like, I agree 100%. Like, don't have all three. But I think a little bit still is, kind of going to the Cardinals didn't really have other than Helsley, their closer. The Cardinals didn't really have any flamethrowers. Like Lance Lynn in his mid 90s, Kyle Gibson in his high 80s to 90s. It wasn't like they weren't facing these like George Kirby and Emerson Hancock or George Kirby and Logan Gilbert that were pumping 99, 98 consistently. So I think a little bit, it definitely doesn't help having the 2 off days in a row. But I think it could have been that entire week, Monday through Thursday, they weren't seeing many 96, 97 plus pitches unless it was in the 9th inning or the extra innings against the Cardinals closer.
But they also had Pavin Smith leading off on Wednesday,
that's a whole other can of worms. But thankfully, we are past that dog shit game. Oh man.
Yeah. So let's just go ahead and move on to game number 2, which was the George Kirby special. Oh my Lord. George Kirby was literally, the first inning was just all straight fastballs. Just all 3 strikeouts right off the bat. I'm like, oh, is this how it's going to be? Slade Ciccone said, not so fast, my friend. I can keep up. Slade, these last 2 starts, I've been incredibly impressed. It's going to be interesting to see, because I don't think Merrill's back for a bit, based on the reports. I think Merrill's out for a while. We know Erod's out for a while. So, Slade, this is your opportunity. And right now, he's taken that opportunity by the horns, and he's showing that he deserves to be up here. Like,
He's looked really
um,
good. Like all of his
yeah,
pitches are working so well. He has such good movement, such good speed, and as I call him a pit bull on Twitter because that's literally what he like gets a strikeout and he's running like walking around the mound and everything. He's like I think Brett you mentioned that he has sort of like a closer energy to him. So I mean I don't want him as a closer. It could be an option, if he has some struggles down the line or something, but he's just looks so fantastic. And I mean, just the fact that he was able to keep up with Kirby, like they went toe to toe most of this game, and if anything, he might have even to a certain extent outpitched him too. Like, so, damn, he's so freaking good, and hopefully they can keep him up for a little bit, find a way to work him into the starting rotation when the other guys come back or when they come back. But yeah, I mean, he's been beasting.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that definitely helped, especially with it, um, I'm if I'm mistaken, correct me. I believe Gabby was behind the plate in both of his starts,
yep,
and I'm not
Yeah.
saying that Tucker can't call a good game, but I think there's just something with him pitching with him last year, still having that repertoire, like basically him being his personal catcher. He knows, Gabby can work a little bit more with his pitches, work a little bit more with like sequencing. Rob Freeman, he was having a day with that Kirby versus Saccone matchup, man. When after that game was over, I was like scrolling through Twitter because my brother and his fiance were over and we were watching more movies and all that. I just saw nothing but like disgustingness from both Slade and Kirby. I don't know if I would say that he technically outpitched Kirby. It was definitely close, but I mean Kirby's 23 whiffs on the day in total, 18 on his fastball, and he threw exactly, I believe, 51% fastballs on the day, and it just could not touch it. Dbacks, it's literally him.
yeah.
Like, he could have gone up there and just waved his glove like, fastball, here you go. I'm going to throw it every single time. Like, you're not going to touch it.
So Kirby, 95 pitches, 48 were fastballs, so 51%. 35 swings, 18 whiffs. 18 of his 23 whiffs were on his four-seam fastball. Like, that's absolutely insane. And as Gabe was pointing out, Slade, very balanced, by the way. 84 pitches. 45 were four-seamers, 25 were sliders, 14 were changeups. So, like, I like that balance with him. Like, yes, it's a very, like, small pitch repertoire, but it works. Like, he's doing really well. Now, he doesn't have the whiff that I would like. He only had 11. It's a little low based on that, but he pitched really well in this game. Like, he looked really, really good. Had offense shown up, and that's the thing with this series is I don't know if the offense struggled or Seattle's starting rotation is really good. So I don't know. I think it's a mixture of both.
I think it's a mixture, but the issue, what I've noticed, is just runners in scoring position. They cannot bring the runs in. They've had guys, that first game, they had 3 hits, which is bad, but they had 4 walks. So that's 7 runners. They were 0 for 4 in runners scoring position that game. So they're just not bringing them in. Like, that's the problem. So I know their pitchers are good, but throughout the whole series, they had runners on at some point. Like, there's a couple times, even today, runner on second, no outs, and then, all 3 outs were easy pop-ups and fly balls, and Corbin still continues to be a dead weight, unfortunately. So, once you get to the second half of that lineup, and it's just automatic outs at this point.
Yeah, we will get into that later. Blaze played in this game, and he continues to show why Torrey needs to play him regardless of the matchup. Like, he is like this double. Watch how close this is. Oh, I gotta wait for the video to finish. So here it is. Look how close that is. So that's from the front view. That's the side view. It's just 3 inches, and it hits the top of the wall, and it's out. Now, would that have made a difference in the game? I don't know. George Kirby was pitching something fierce last night, so I don't know if it would have made that much of a difference. And I think we missed an opportunity not jumping on Stanek because he threw a lot of pitches in that inning for one inning. 23 pitches out of a reliever in a single inning. That's quite a lot. And the fact that we didn't get anything, well, okay, we got one run out of it. So I don't understand this offense. I really don't. Like, we'll see what we saw on Wednesday when we scored like 8 runs in an inning. Then we got a total of 9 hits in this series with 5 runs in 27 innings. Like, it's so frustrating to watch. Like, you don't know what this offense is when they do this.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, this is no longer the answer back for the early backs is to lay down and die in backs. Like, that's all they do. They go down and they just like lay down and die. Like, they're like my dog. They just like lay over and show their soft side, and then that's it. Like, they just give up. Like, they have no fight in them. Like, it's crazy. It's so frustrating to watch because it's over and over and over again. Like, it's like a pattern at this point. You see them. It's like, you know how the movie's going to end. Okay, they score 1 run in the first, and then they're going to strike out 12 times, and then the starting pitcher's going to throw 7 innings, 2 runs, and then he's going to end up with a loss. Like, that's how it's been this last week. And I know there's a lot of people on Twitter saying like, "Oh, the D-backs have the best or second best offense in the league with numbers." I'm like, that doesn't matter when one game is a complete blowout, and then the next 5 or 6 are losing by, because they score 1 run.
Cherry pick stat. Run differential is a cherry. Like, you can just drop it in there. Oh, they have a plus 20 run differential, but they're 3 games under 500. Like, it doesn't matter because you could do what the Dbacks have done. Like, if you look at their total runs, I'm pretty sure half of them are within 5 games, and the other half is from the other 18. Like, it's a long season, and I tweeted this out today. I'm like, I'm not saying today was a must win, but a win would be nice, and we got the win because before today we were 4 games under 500. We hadn't been there since near the end of the 2022 season. So they were never this far under at all last year, which means they basically didn't go on losing streaks. Like, it'd be like 3 or 4. They'd stop and they'd probably win 4 or 5 and it just get back to around 500 because we only finished 6 games over 500 where we were like 84 and 78. So yeah, but Slade pitched amazing.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I know it's early, it's April, it's not even May yet, and people can say like, well, you can't win a division in April, but you can definitely lose it. And with the way they've been playing, the way the Dodgers have been playing, we have the Dodgers coming up in the series. So if they get swept by the Dodgers, I think at this point the D-backs would have to throw in the towel, at least for the division, because I don't see how they would be able to go on a run because you still got to face the Giants and the Padres, and they're going to go on their own runs too. So at that point, you're going to be playing catch up if they, can't take advantage of this series or these games too that they have in hand, because they're already 5 games, 4.5 games behind the Dodgers. It's not even May yet, so hopefully at least this series they can put some of those numbers back up, and then we'll see from there. But it's just
4.5 right now.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like, even if they sweep the Dodgers, they're still like 1.5 games behind them.
I mean, that would be like, I think that would give them a lot of confidence sweeping the Dodgers, especially with how stacked they are this year with that top 5 of that lineup is nasty. After that, it really drops off. Like, it really does.
It does, but it still has that's the random thing is they can just lull you to sleep where you're like, oh, we're fine. And then randomly Max Muncy or Chris Taylor will pinch hit and then we'll hit like a 3-run bomb or a grand slam. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Like, those guys can do that still.
Yeah. But I'm hoping Slade can kind of keep this going for a while with just because I think he has the confidence now. Like I belong up here, and I think he's going to continue to pitch well. He had 8 strikeouts in this game, which is his career high. So set a new career high in this game. So let's just go ahead and move on to the third and final game, the game that we actually won, 3-2, courtesy of former Diamondbacks. Like, it's literally what it was. Gino and Marte stepped up big in the 7th, right? Trying to remember. Sorry. Looks like we lost Brett there for a second. Kind of a bummer. But Christian got the scoring started early here in the 2nd with a nice home run to left center. So hopefully he can get that power up, because I think that was only like his 4th home run of the year. So we definitely need him. Sorry, 5th home run of the year. So hopefully he can get that power up. But Fott was the star of this game. Again, no, that's not the one I want. Did I not grab it? Okay, I didn't grab it. Whatever. Josh Rojas gets another leadoff home run. And the thing is, speaking of, there's that man. Hopefully everything's all right over there. Yeah.
My internet froze for a second. Or like my browser did, not my internet.
Okay. But no, Josh Rojas jumped on a first pitch fastball again. The thing is, I think that's always going to be something with Fott. I think people just need to accept it. He's going to give up the home run ball. But I think
low shots, I'm okay with it. Like,
yeah, I'm like, stick with it.
Yeah.
Don't give up those the 3-run bombs. If you just stick with the solo shots, I'm completely fine with that. So Fott had 96 pitches, 38 were sweepers, 9 of them he got whiffs on. Like, he looked really good in this game. 6 innings pitched, 11 Ks, which is his career high. And also the 38 sweepers were also a career high. So I was very pleased with Brandon Fott in this game. He's just, like, everyone thought that him in the postseason, maybe, like, a lot of people outside of the Diamondbacks fan base thought that was a fluke. But we've seen so far this year, the first 5 innings against St. Louis, the way he the second time, and then the first time, he struggled in the first 2 innings, but then he settled in. He did well. We have this start. I think Fott, as we tweeted out, we need to have a conversation, y'all. He is the ace of this staff. He's the true ace. Gabe, what are your thoughts on what Fott did today?
Yeah, he just looks so confident on the mound, which is a complete difference from last year when he first came up, like with his little rosy red cheeks and everything. He looks scared. And now, I mean, he's striking out guys left and right, and he just looks so freaking good doing it. Like, he has such a mound presence that I think that he didn't have last year, and that he had in the postseason. And just, man, like, they were coming out of their shoes swinging at some of these sweepers. And it's not like he was getting, a whole bunch of called strikes or anything. It was called strike threes. And the ones that were, he just froze them and were just dotted on the line. They were so freaking nasty. And with how bad the umpiring has been these last few days, it's not like he was hitting the outside and you're like, yeah, well, it's a little outside. No, they were right on the lines. Like, it was nuts how good he was today. And like we're saying, like, he'll have an inning where he'll lose his control and composure a little bit, but he did that today. He got out of it with only 1 run. And then just settled down again, continued to work, and 6 innings, 2 runs. Like, what more can you ask for? This is our number 5. Like, 6 innings and 2 runs out of number 5.
Once we're healthy.
I mean, not right now, but he is our number 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he, like, just if that video alone, just like the highlights of his pitching, is just so beautiful. Like, my favorite thing about baseball in general is pitching. I love just like the art of pitching, watching like how different guys work, hearing like their thought process. And one of my favorite things is like tunneling, like when you can throw like pitches in the same area where they look like out of the hand, they're going to be in the same pitch, the same exact spot, but they all break in different areas. And that's where like some of those, called strike pitch or called strike threes, it makes sense why they're taking them, because not only were they very well located right on the black, like you said, Gabe, Brandon Fott just like locating really well. Some of those, if you have them in an overlay, just the way they move and break at the last second, like some of the sinkers, even I'm watching and I'm like reading, I'm like, oh, that's moving like a sweeper 100%. And then next thing it's just back in the zone, or, oh, it looks like he's throwing another fastball. No, that's a sweeper down. Like, I don't understand how major league hitters can do it. It's disgusting. It's genuinely, I think Zach Gallen, his changeup and his curveball are really good pitches. I think his curve is one of his best with how it just drops off the table. Brandon Pfaadt has 3 really good pitches, like really good, really, really good pitches that he can maneuver wherever he wants in the zone. And it's beautiful when he's on.
Yeah. They said it on the broadcast, and I can't find it. But he was like 3rd in all of Major League Baseball on strikeouts looking, not swinging on a sweeper. I think, like Brett said, it's that tunneling. Like, it looks like the same, and then at the last second, it's not. So that was the one thing on the broadcast. I was like, wait, what? First was Glasnow for sure, and I'm not positive, but I think the second one is Yamamoto. I believe they were both Dodgers, but I can't find where they have it classified as like swinging or looking. They just have it as strikeouts. So I don't know if there's any way to actually find that. But still, like, Pfaadt is truly, truly coming into his own. Like, I was one of those people in August. I'm like, maybe he is a 4A player. Like, he's too good for AAA, but he's not good enough for the big leagues. I was completely wrong. Especially after watching him in the postseason, I'm like, I'm completely wrong. This is a major league pitcher. Yeah, and Brett, the way Brett's shaking his head is like, yeah. Like it's just his pitches kept getting too much of the zone, and he kept giving up just so much hard hit. He still does, but he's been able to still get like he's still going 5-6 innings, which when we're healthy, that is your number 5. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, once this is healthy and we have Gallen, Kelly, Montgomery, Erod, Fox not going to have to pitch a postseason game. Like, they can just have him come out of the pen. Like, I'm sorry, that is scary. But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much, because the way that we're playing right now, we aren't going to make the wild card.
Yeah, the NL is pretty tough right now.
But luckily, it's a very, very, very long season. Like Gabe said, you don't win the division in April, but you can sure lose it. Yeah. Ask Colorado, because they're pretty much out. Ask the Chicago White Sox. They did double their win total this past weekend, by the way, by taking 2 from the Rays.
They swept the Rays.
Wait, they swept them?
They swept the Rays.
Oh, my God. I thought it was 2 or 3. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But no.
One quick thing about Pfaadt that I'm noticing, which, by the way, I just found this out on Baseball Savant. I've always seen the screenshots of it on Twitter. But one of the things you can go at, like, on there and look at the pitch breakdown of his stuff, it's just disgusting that some of his sweepers have, like, he has a sinker that has 18 inches or almost 18 inches of movement to, his arm side. And then his sweeper has almost 18 inches of movement to the glove side. It's just insane.
Yeah, he like that sweeper. I mean, sometimes it's not even a competitive pitch though. Like, it starts way outside and it goes even for like, but most of the time
things on it though.
Yeah, he does get some very nasty whiffs on it, and I'm like, that thing could.
For Mookie Betts playoff clip here. Sorry.
Mookie Betts playoff clip here. But no, we got a big clutch hit from Cattell in the 8th after Gino tied it in the 7th. We got a runner on, and it was because Torrey played matchups. Like, I'm not against playing matchups because it works most of the time. They brought in Seattle brought in a lefty. Jock was up, so he pinched hit for Randall Grichuk. Randall Grichuk hits just a line drive at the pitcher, and it bounces off him, and it just kind of trickles past him. So he gets on, wild pitch. Cattell up next at bat, hits that line drive to right, and we take the lead, and we end up winning. Ginkel looked really good in the 9th. It's probably because before yesterday, he hadn't pitched in like 4 days.
Yeah, I haven't really needed him.
Oh, he
But also, like,
pitched Saturday, I believe. I think he
No, no,
pitched-
no, no. But what I'm saying is before Saturday, I
Oh,
don't think
sorry, yeah,
he had pitched since like probably
Monday's game, maybe.
maybe, but it was probably Sunday against the Giants. So it
Well, no, 'cause we went
definitely
to extra innings against the Cardinals, so he definitely would have pitched. No, never mind. That's right, because they brought in Kyle Nelson.
Yeah.
Never mind. You're right.
And then Kyle Nelson gave up that nuke to
Yeah, I
Nolan
tried to
Gorman.
forget that. That's right.
So,
I want
but
to bring
hey,
up that Cattell hit. That was a slider painted on the black, and he just freaking roped it. Like, that's such a good piece of hitting because that's a really good pitch, and he just was able to get it and just
yeah, it
slam it.
nicked the bottom of the zone.
Yeah, that was a nasty pitch, and he still got it.
So
Is Seattle? Does the ball not fly there? Because I believe the
No, it
roof was closed in today's game too, which is a little surprising.
So what's weird is they can close the roof, but they have they don't have panels in the outfield, so it's still open. So
No, they have the same
only
issue
close-
that San Francisco does is that marine later, so the air there is a lot heavier, so the ball just doesn't fly as much. That's why they struggle to get certain guys over 30 home runs too. Like the last one, I think before J Rod was King Griffey Jr. or something like that. Like they offense really struggles in Seattle, even for them. Like that's why a lot of their guys have better numbers outside of Seattle.
Cattell's double in the ninth, or when he hit that double in the eighth, would have been a home run in 3 ballparks. You guys want to take a guess at the 3 ballparks would have been a home run in?
Yankee Stadium,
There's one.
Fenway.
Nope. I'll give you
Cincinnati.
There you go. Okay, there's 2. One more. Honestly, I would not have guessed this one either, just because to me it doesn't seem like a home run park.
I would say
Give
not
me one more
Baltimore, is
guess.
it?
No, it's Detroit, Comerica.
Damn.
Yeah, which I was like, did they move the
What?
ball?
Really?
Of all that would have been a home run in Comerica. Like, I figured maybe at Chase Field it would have been, but like no.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. We won. That's all that mattered. Avoid the sweep. Can start a series fresh. Just may as well go into it. We have a huge 3-game series against the Los Angeles Dodgers here in Phoenix at Chase Field. It's going to be tough. They just played Toronto, and they lost today, but Shohei is. I swear the man's not human. I swear he's an alien. The way he hit, he had a home run against the Nationals. What was that, Thursday?
The 450-foot home run. That thing was nasty.
Yeah. So he has the 2 hardest hit balls all year. That one, and then he had one yesterday that went off the bat at 119. That was a single. Like, I see the way I'm like, where do you get this torque? Like, I get he's 6'4", so he's able to get a lot of torque, but still, sometimes he swings. I'm like, wow, like just no effort, and the ball just flies off his bat.
Oh, we get Yamamoto on Wednesday, by the way.
Yeah, but that also is slated for Gallen if he goes based on normal rest.
Yeah, that's listed for to be decided. Dude, I really hope he goes. I need to see. I need the Gallen versus Yamamoto. That'll feed so many agendas.
Feeds so many agendas.
If somebody called, I've never heard of. Maybe it's a bullpen guy. I don't know if it's a spot start, but in the game against Montgomery, they're starting a guy named Landon Knack.
Yeah,
never heard of him. So hopefully it's not going to be one of those where he goes out there and throws like 6 innings, 12 Ks, and we're like, cool, welcome to the big leagues, Landon.
Yeah, Monday is the battle of the Southpaws, Paxton versus Tommy Henry. So this Knack guy, he's 26 years old. This will be his 3rd start. He's thrown 11 innings, 3.27 ERA, 9 strikeouts. So based on that, unfortunately, it looks good, but
yeah,
hopefully he's not too good. So, yeah, like the thing is though, during the regular season, the Dodgers own our ass. Like Chase Field, like we play them pretty well, but when we go to Dodger Stadium, it's always ugly, ugly with a capital U. They bend us over, yo.
I mean,
Like,
I was talking about it on when I was streaming some MLB earlier. I was talking about it on there. Like, I think the only ballpark the D-backs of the opponents in their division of the NL West, I think the only ballpark that they're visitors in where you could even say they somewhat consistently, and I'm going to use that in air quotes because we know there's no consistency in any year with this offense, is Coors Field. I mean, we know when they went into the game against the Giants last week, they're now 7-30 in games in San Fran, or 6-30 now, ever since 2019. So they're not good there. In San Diego, it seems like for years they would score 2-3 runs a game. It'd always be pitchers duels. Even when San Diego was like the bottom feeder of the division, we would always struggle against them. We would always go to like LA, even whether they're good or bad. We would just 2 runs a game, 3 runs, and you're lucky. It's just no of the opponents in the division, it seems like we hit well at.
Yeah, well, it's because they're all pitchers' parks. Like Dodger Stadium has always been known as a pitcher park, just because how huge it is. Like it's not a small stadium. Same with San Francisco, like to the point where they haven't had a 30 homer season since Barry Bonds. And in Coors, that's the only place where the ball flies. 'Cause, I mean, even in San Diego, they have the marine layer. At night, when it gets a little bit cool, like it's hard for the ball to fly out, which is why a lot of them focus on hitting home runs, which is why they'll strike out a lot. But they'll hit a lot of home runs there. You just have to adjust through the park. And this D-backs offense, for the most part, has not been that. They haven't been a home run team. They've been a slapping singles and doubles team. So when you get into those stadiums, like sometimes that's why they struggle in some of them because they're not able to hit as many singles and doubles as normal, and they're not relying on the home run the way the Dodgers do. So Max Muncy isn't hitting bombs, once a series to put them away. But yeah, I am excited for this series, especially to see Shohei, to see Yamamoto. Hopefully Mookie Betts doesn't reach 400 average against us this time, because he is like at 390 right now, and I am scared.
I'm more terrified of Freddie Freeman, dude. That dude, it's just he is a machine in Chase Field.
Yeah, he's like I said. Well, at least we have the fact that after Will Smith in that lineup, it just kind of falls apart a bit. So hopefully, they're able to at least work around the top 3 or 4 guys and then attack the other guys. But I feel like as of right now, they have a lot of similarities in terms of being top heavy. But obviously, the Dodgers are super top heavy. They have literally 3 of the last 4 MVPs on their team, even though I still think Freddie Freeman did steroids in 2020, but I don't know though.
So Freddie Freeman in his career in Chase Field between the Braves and the Dodgers, in 220 plate appearances, just under 200 at bats, he has 76 hits, 40 singles, 23 doubles, a triple, 12 homers, 47 runs scored, 40 RBI, almost 20 walks, 40 Ks, and then is hitting 384. So that's he has a WRC plus of 204. That's a fun stat. There you go. Dear God.
Absolutely.
If you like betting, put money on him to hit a homer, extra base hit. It's probably gonna hit.
Absolutely unreal what Freddie does at Chase Field.
Yeah, 204 WRC plus. I didn't even realize that. That's disgusting.
That is so. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting series. By the way, I think this will be our first Wednesday game all year that isn't a day game. I got so excited by that because Wednesdays I'm in office and I don't get to watch. So this will be nice that it's actually at a normal time, 6:40 first pitch, all 3 days. The way this offense is hitting, I can see this as a 3-game sweep.
Hopefully they use the one benefit of the Dodgers are good, but Paxton isn't hopefully going to be like Logan Gilbert and George Kirby.
Yeah, well, he's not. He's
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's at least the one saving grace. Like, you know, the Dodgers starters are a little bit, I feel like, more prone than the Mariners starting pitching is.
Yeah, like I think we have a shot on Monday and Tuesday. I have no idea because this is only his third start. Now he's looked good through 2 starts, but I don't know. With these young guys, you really don't know. Like start to start, they're so different. So it's really, really hard to tell. But I can't say a sweep. I think we win on Wednesday because I think Gallen's going to pitch. I think Gallen's going to pitch very, very well. So Dodgers win 2 out of 3. I don't have any hot takes because this offense makes it impossible to have a hot take right now.
Yeah.
So Gabe, do you have any hot takes for the series?
Not really. No. If we're facing Glasnow, I would just say that they're going to blow him up or something. But no hot takes. Just go out and win, I guess. Maybe the hot take is that they win 2 games.
There we go. They do what they're supposed to. Brett, you're muted.
Sorry, there we go. I'm typing, so I don't have my thing in there. It's. I agree. It's kind of tough to have a hot take when like everything about this team is so cold. But I mean, I guess maybe we light Yamamoto up. You know, make it a long Wednesday night for him. I guess
This feels like a good meme to play right now because this is what it is. Like this is what the team is right now.
Yeah. So we don't know exactly who we're gonna get this series. I'm hoping we get the Diamondbacks that played the Dodgers in the playoffs last year. The answer backs. Hopefully the starting pitching can continue the way it's been going now. But I think, the only bold thing I can say is maybe that we chase Yamamoto early.
I'm hoping fans show up. That's the main thing. I'm hoping the Dbacks fans show up, especially after the playoffs and everything. I know they're struggling right now, which is like I can see, fans not wanting to go, but it's like at least show up so we can drown them out. Yeah.
Or a lot of these fans will wear their Dodger gear instead of their D-back gear because I swear that's the only way that Chase Field gets packed with so many Dodger fans is you have a lot of them that are actual Dodger fans, but because they live here, they'll root for the Diamondbacks unless they play the Dodgers.
They're secondary, yeah.
Like, because that's the only thing that makes sense. Like, I'm like, y'all don't travel that well. Now, I get Dodger fans are everywhere, just like Yankee fans and cockroaches. They are everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. So
yeah, you could say both are the same, right?
Yeah. So just one final quick thing. Alec Thomas, was it 1 or 2 sim games this week?
I think he did 2. It seemed like he did 2.
Okay, and
one
it was
early
just
in the week
basically
and then...
yeah, it was just him basically hitting. Like he hasn't gone and started playing defense yet, but it's progress. So I take what we can get. I think I'm not saying that they miss him, but him coming back could provide some life to this offense for sure. Seawald, they set him down for a couple of days, but hopefully he'll have a bullpen session here later in the week. So hopefully he's not too far away. They said on the broadcast this week, Domo's still a couple weeks out. So we're still quite a bit of ways from that. So we're still going to have the platoon at shortstop. Lefty is Blaze. Righty is Kevin Newman, which I'm fine with because Newman's doing a serviceable job. Like he's hitting well enough where I'm not as mad about it. I sometimes do get mad because Blaze will have like one game where he looks amazing, and then the next day, because it's a righty, Kevin Newman. So, but no. Hopefully we get some more news because the list of injuries on the major league roster is getting quite long. I'm not a fan of it. Not a fan whatsoever. Gabe, any parting thoughts for the pod?
Yeah, I just want to give a few quick shout outs to Goldie and Aaron Judge. These last 7 games, both of them have upped their average, and they're both Goldie's around a 900 OPS and Judge is around 1,000 OPS in the last 7 games. So it gives me hope that Carroll will turn things around. He's taking better at bats for the most part. Sometimes he does still swing at the first pitch. He's taking better at bats, but you know, I've noticed that he's just getting under a lot of balls in the strike zone, so he's able to work through that, whatever this is. If I don't think he's injured, I really don't think that's what it is. Seems to be a mechanical thing. So I mean, these two guys have turned it around, and I know Carroll's not a seasoned veteran like them, but it's still nice to see the veterans of baseball, be able to turn things around and show they still have a lot to give, especially Goldie. So yeah, shout out to them. Hopefully, this is the signs of life for not just them, but other of the other stars in the game, like Acuna, like Carroll. So, it is what it is.
Every star rookie does it. Like every sophomore year. It happened to Julio Rodriguez last year. Like he struggled.
He was hitting 220 up until July, I think, and he ended up with a 275 average. So it happens a lot to these guys. They adjust. Yeah. They just adjust back.
Yeah, like that's all they have to do. Like these teams have the entire offseason to figure out how to pitch to these guys. Carroll just has to adjust back, and I think he'll be just fine. He's too talented. He's playing a really good job in defense in center field though. He's made some really nice plays. So there was a play today on the Julio Rodriguez RBI single that I think he played very well. Could he have tried to dive for it and maybe get it? Varsho did that yesterday, and the ball goes all the way to the wall. So he made the right decision. I'm like, all right, let's just let it bounce. One run, because Julio, if he dives and he misses that, that's either a triple or an inside the Parker for Julio. So I think
even if he does dive and catch that, there's a good chance the runner still tags up and scores anyway while he tries to get up off the ground.
And he could have hurt himself, and then we're really SOL. So, yeah, definitely made the right business decision there of just kind of slowing down, letting it drop, and just hold him to a single. Brett, any parting thoughts?
I mean, I guess it's just nice to get away with a win, because even all day I was like, man, I do not want to see them lose 5 in a row, go down to 5 under. Like it's just, 4 in a row, go down to 5 under. But to kind of piggyback off what Gabe was saying with hopefully Corbin turns it around. I know we've seen a lot of people on online saying send him down. And I'm sorry, you don't send down your $100 million superstar to AAA. You just don't do that. 2, it's just there's nothing I get the whole he can go there and get right, but there's still a chance where even if he doesn't get right in Reno, it just ruins his confidence even more, to where it's just there's nothing for him in Reno. There's nothing for him in the minor leagues. He's already shown that he's not where Alec Thomas was in the position he was in last year, or even some Jake McCarthy previously. This is the superstar of our team, the face of the team other than Ketel Marte, and he's going to figure it out. I know it's like Gabe said, great point. The fact that J-Rod hit 220 until July of last year is at least a good sign where, Corbin, he's under the Mendoza line. It's never good. But like you said, he's having good at-bats in at least 60-70% of the time when he's not swinging at the first pitch and popping up. I don't know. I'm still confident with him. It's just I hope that they use today's kind of comeback win. And even some of their bats today were pretty solid. There some pretty long at-bats that made some of the pitchers work. The Mariners bullpen is pretty decent still too. And the fact that they were able to scratch across that run on him was nice. But I just hope that they use it as a way to kind of refocus and recenter on, getting to work this series against the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about baseball is you have these series, you get a fresh start every 3 or 4 days. You can just kind of wipe the slate clean, start fresh. So hopefully the win today gives them all some confidence. I know a lot of people are worried about Corbin, but that's just how people are nowadays, is they react so harshly so quickly. I'm like, y'all, it's a 162 game season. Yes, he's struggling here for the first month of the year. Goalie did that all the time. and he would always finish out strong. Now, I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying that a lot can change with a good week. Like, even with a good series, like Corbin could go 3 for 9, 4 for 10 in this series, and we'll be on the way up. So, but no, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. We will see you after the Dodgers D-backs series.